here, players and friends, and welcome to art class week 2. If you tuned in last week, you joined me in looking outside of your window and trying to reimagine your outside space, or perhaps look at it in a way that you hadn't before. This week, we are going to see how we can reimagine our inside space, taking inspiration from the artist Henri Matisse. So together, we'll take a close look at some of Matisse's artwork. We'll get inspiration behind some of the techniques that he used, and then we will make our own work of art. All right, backyard players, let's go. This is Henri Matisse, who is our artist friend of the day. And here he is sitting in his studio. Looks like he's really deep in thought, thinking about something. Matisse was a painter, and he was a painter who loved to experiment. He made all sorts of paintings, paintings of places, still lives like this one, which shows a bunch of objects, paintings of people. He oftentimes used a lot of color in his artwork. But when Matisse got older, it became really hard for him to stand up and paint in his studio. His body started to feel really tired. So instead of stopping painting, he started making art in a new way. He started making cutouts, which were pieces of painted paper that he cut out with scissors. And sometimes he pasted them onto other sheets of paper like you see here. Sometimes he pasted them on the wall. And I think this is really inspiring because Matisse could have said, oh, I'm too old, I can't be an artist anymore. But instead he said, okay, how can I still work? I can sit in my wheelchair and make art, or in my bed and make art, or in a chair and make art. And he did that. He took a pair of scissors and used his scissors to cut out all of these beautiful shapes. Take a moment to look at the artwork that you see here. What do you notice about the shapes? How is Matisse combining the shapes to make new shapes? Do they remind you of anything? You can pause the video to have a conversation with a family member or a friend. Matisse named this artwork the swimming pool. The story goes that one hot July day, he went to a pool to view the divers. But it was too hot for him to stay outside. So instead, he came home, got out his paper and scissors, and transformed his dining room into the swimming pool. What do you see that reminds you of swimmers in this artwork? So for this project, you are going to need paper. You can use either construction paper, like what I have here. You can use copy paper from your printer. I was having fun. I've already done it, but cutting up these paper bags. I raided my recycling bin and found all of these bags that I had. And what I like about these is that you can make really big shapes. So you'll need paper, you will need scissors, and if you want to put your shapes up on the wall, you'll need tape. You totally don't have to put your shapes up on the wall. You could glue them down to a piece of paper. You could just arrange them on a surface. But if you do want to put them up on the wall, I would recommend using painter's tape, which is this blue tape. And that's tape that is, it'll hold something up, but it's not gonna pull the paint off the wall. So just check the tape that you're using before you stick something on the wall. So now that you've got your materials, I'm gonna show you 2 different ways that you can do this project. The first way is just like Matisse, you can cut your shapes directly out of the paper. If you're working with really large paper, I would recommend cutting it down to maybe a slightly smaller piece. And I just want you to notice how I'm rotating the paper as I cut. And that makes it really easy. If I were to try to do that and keep the paper all in one place, see, it's gonna get really hard for me as I get further away from myself with the scissors. So by rotating the paper as you're cutting, you're gonna make it a lot easier on yourself. Now, I know cutting isn't for everybody. If you would prefer, you can ask a friend or a family member to cut out some shapes for you. And the shapes that they cut out can be totally random. And then from there, you can figure out how to arrange them. This looks like a little bird to me. To make something. So, and this is kind of a fun game too, right? How many different things can you make out of these same few shapes? And you can really then let the shapes inspire you. This is maybe some kind of fish. Oh, there, then we have the fin. What do we think? Maybe a fish? So you've got 2 different options. You can arrange pre-cut shapes, or you can use the paper to cut out a shape of whatever inspires you. So I'm gonna show you how I use the large piece of paper to cut out the shapes, but I do wanna show you one last quick thing with the tape. And that is how to make a tape roll. So when you're ready to hang these things up on the wall, you can rip off a piece of tape, roll it, so that it's sticky on all the sides, and then just dropped everything on the floor. It's sticky, and you can stick it wherever you like, and it will come off really easily, especially if you use the painter's tape. So this morning I took a walk, and on my walk I picked these cherry blossoms from a tree in my neighborhood. And I was thinking about how this time of year I oftentimes go to the Brooklyn Botanic Garden on my lunch break, and I will notice the cherry blossoms. So today my artwork is gonna be inspired by these cherry blossoms, because I'm really wishing that I could get outside and be in the garden spending some time with them. So because I can't do that, I'm gonna bring the cherry blossoms to me. So here is my indoors forest of cherry blossoms, and I think I'll keep adding to this. All right, backyard players, so you've got your materials. Hopefully you have an idea of the ways that you might use shapes to show a person or a place or a thing, or perhaps you just want to experiment with different kinds of organic shapes without names. So I'm so excited to see what you all make, and how you combine your shapes and how you display them. Maybe you put them on the wall, maybe you put them in your windows. I've been seeing a lot of people, this is so cool, putting signs in their windows for their neighbors. So that's something that might be a really fun idea. But whatever you do, please make sure that you share it with us. We are so excited to see the artwork that you've made, and also be able to keep our community connected, right? To be able to see what each other are doing.